Hi guys, and welcome back to At Home with Elisa. Today I need to do some work in my rose garden. We recently had some flooding in the rose garden and parts of it were actually washed away, and it was almost a foot of soil was missing out of the garden. We had roots exposed. Afterwards, all the roses actually lost all of their leaves. Every single one of them lost all their leaves. They're springing back to life, which is a really good sign that hopefully I haven't lost them. It's a little bit of a chilly day here today. It's actually saying that it feels like 8 degrees, so I'm rugged up and I'm ready to get into my garden. I think the best way to deal with it on a cold day is just to get out there and work up a sweat. So today I'm really looking forward to actually just trying to level out some of the areas within the rose garden, fill in some of those trenches. I have already tried to do some of it, but fill it in a little bit better. And I actually wanted to do some trenches so that then as the water flows down the hill, it sort of gets stuck in little gullies. So I'm thinking about putting some little gullies where the water can sort of swell but not shoot across and wash everything out. So I'm trying to slow the water down so that we haven't had really bad flooding here in maybe a month, I think. We haven't had that really heavy rain that we've been getting non-stop, so that's been fantastic, but I just want to make sure that I can try and flood proof it for future as well. It is quite windy here. We've got quite a strong westerly blowing, nothing like the last 2 days. We've had 90 km/h winds, so it's definitely a lot better today. I've picked a day to do the gardening, but I can still see the gum trees moving and swaying in the breeze, so it is still quite windy, but I'm hoping to get up some of that mulch that I've got in the garden. You can actually see it behind me. When we first moved here, we got some free just wood chip mulch, and we put it down in the garden beds, and it looked good for a little while, and now it's kind of bleached. The sun's bleached it and it's gone very white, and I'm not loving it. So I'm hoping to pull all that mulch back today because I'm going to get some new mulch soon. I don't like the black dyed mulch, but I'm getting something a little bit darker because I think it makes this plants really pop out when you have the dark background and you have the bright plants. It makes it look so much nicer. So I'm looking to scrape all of that up, and I won't waste that mulch layer. I will actually just reuse it in the garden. It's already here, so I like to reuse things. I do have some more garden beds that need to be constructed. Our cutting garden's only halfway finished. So what I'll do is I'll scrape up all of that mulch, all of the blonde mulch. I'll scrape all of that up, and I'll actually just use it in the base of some garden beds that I'm going to be building out in future, and kind of like a hugelkultur method. So I will actually, they'll be quite deep, so I'll be putting some more sticks and stuff in, but I think it's a good way to use it when I don't really like it on top. I actually have 3 roses that I'd like to get into the garden as well. I purchased those a couple of months ago before all our crazy weather and all the flooding and all that sort of thing happened. So I'm keen to get those into the ground. I generally don't like to have roses sitting in pots for too long. They've been in there way too long for my liking to begin with. So I'll plant them, and then after that I'm actually going to give all of the roses a feed. Generally, it's June now, and generally we wouldn't actually feed our roses in June in New South Wales because they're kind of going into a little bit of dormancy. However, just with everything that they've been through, I believe that they've probably lost any nutrients that are in the soil at this point in time, and I really want to help them on their way. I think I'm very lucky to still have them for what they've been through, so I want to just give them a little bit more love. So even if I'm wasting it and it just washes away, then I still feel better that I've done it. So I'll give them some black marble, which is just a slow release granular fertilizer. That was actually recommended to me by a rose grower, and I've always used it even at my other property. So I'll put some black marble down for them, and I'll also just water them in with some sea salt as well. That's just a seaweed solution. It just helps to settle the roots. I think these plants have been through a lot, and I really want to give them some love now, that especially it seems like they're fighting to survive. So yeah, let's give them some love. So just before I get started, I'll show you those pretty roses that I purchased this year. We've got this one here, which I actually have smelt this one before. It's really pretty. It's called Mother's Love, and it's kind of a cream color, which is just, it's really nice. It's got a very faint pink in the center. And then this one here is a Floribunda rose called Nivalis, which I thought it was very similar. I like the Blue Moon variety. I do have a few Blue Moon. I'm trying to get that on the light for you. Shows up a little bit more pink here, but it's actually more of a lilac color. So I've got that one. I can see the grasshoppers attacked it. I have had so many bugs eating everything. And then this one here, I'm very excited about. It's my first ever David Austin rose. So this one's the Olivia Austin. So I am super excited about that one. There you go, you can see the sun on it. So pretty. So I'm very excited to add those roses to the rose collection that I already have going. And I'll just show you the garden now, just a little bit of a close-up of the garden. I can show you exactly what it is that I need to repair. So it's very hard to see on camera because I think also all of that blonde mulch, it really does show up a lot, and I don't want my mulch to stand out. So I haven't done my blue metal pathway just down here as yet. Reason being is that I actually want to dig a trench just going down that way so that I can funnel any water that does come from uphill will actually hopefully travel down the trench in the middle of the pathway and not on the garden. So trying to divert the water. But I've got quite a few roses in here already. As I said, a lot of them, they all lost their leaves, but quite a few of them are just starting to come back. I've got a few weeds that need to be knocked out as well, and definitely weeds on the other side. On the other side there. But I do have some beautiful roses in here. Look at this one, for example, Cabana. It's a very bright rose. I generally stick to pastels in the garden, but when it comes to roses, I just can't help myself. I just get whatever seems to be nice at the time. And then this is a big children's rose, which we actually got when our youngest was born, which was a lovely gift. And I've got some more here. This one was actually dug out years, probably about 10, to be honest, probably longer, maybe 15 years ago from a friend's backyard. She had a property and she had roses everywhere, and we went and dug them out, and it was just beautiful. And this one here is the RSL rose. I really love this one. I want to take the tags off, they look terrible. But look at that. Just beautiful. So as you can see, I have filled in, this area here was the main area that was flooding. So from here, it kind of shot where these rocks are, shot all the way through that direction. So I've already filled in quite a bit of the soil, but I definitely need to do some groundwork. And I did lose, that was before the flood, so I did lose a rose there. So I have some spots. And look at all that beautiful soil up there. Got plans for that too. So that's my rose garden, and now it's time to get to work. Well, that's it. I've got all of my roses planted. I'm very happy. I managed to level off. I'm trying to create a terrace between each garden because it is on a bit of a slope, that long rose garden bed. I'm trying to create a terrace with kind of like a gully in between each level so that then the water can sit there and just soak in slowly and not wash away. So I did that. I found some lovely earthworms in the garden, which is fantastic because it means my soil's really nice and healthy. And actually the soil wasn't too damp either, which is good. We had a little bit of rain the other day. We've only just had scatterings of rain, which has been fantastic, no heavy rain. But we have had a little bit of rain, and it's good to see that it's not too waterlogged, which makes me really happy because the roses will do well. I did notice when I put the black marble fertilizer in that water had gotten into my fertilizer, which is not fantastic. So I did go a little bit heavy-handed on the fertilizer just because I know that I'm probably going to have to throw the rest of it out. It's almost a whole bag. I've lost so many products because water's gotten into everything. A lot of fertilizers, unfortunately, but is what it is. Hopefully I have a greenhouse very shortly, so that will be able to keep everything dry. Then I won't be just wasting money with fertilizers being washed away. I'll just show you exactly what it was that I did in the garden and how it turned out. I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. So here is the Olivia Austin rose. I still have to remove all the name tags, which I'll do. That's my Olivia Austin rose. I'm very happy with that. I'm excited to have that. That's another new one that I planted in today, and as you can see, it still doesn't show up quite on camera, but it's a lot more level now, so you can see there's like trying to create another terrace there, another layer. So the water, as it comes down, it should get stuck into there and then slow down a little bit, and it won't damage any of the roots. So this one here I was just able to go just straight across, whereas the other one I actually had to go on a diagonal because I was trying to avoid some of the roots. So I'm really happy with the way all of this is. I tried to level out a little bit in between. I'm hoping to get some mulch very, very soon. I'm just having trouble finding one I like. I think I'm a bit picky. So this is the lowest end of the garden. Looking, as you can see the slope now. You can't see it from all the angles, but you can see the slope now. So I'm really happy with that. All my roses are going to be nicely fertilized, nicely fed with sea soil to help them recover from the trauma that they've been through. I'm actually looking to plant out in between the roses very shortly, so that will be nice. And I think a hedge around the back. I'm not sure. I think a hedge maybe at the back of the garden just to frame it. I think that the roses need like a backdrop behind to really show them off. So I'm very happy with where all the roses are at the moment. In about a month's time it will be July, and July is when I typically will prune back my roses. Generally I would give them a hard prune back. However, most of these roses that I've got here are actually only 1 to 2 years old, which is a little bit immature. Usually mature roses, you really want to give them a hard prune back, and I actually apply a lime sulfur, just a fine spray, which really does smell quite badly, but I spray it and it helps to fight fungal disease come in the growing season, so it's really beneficial. I will prune back my more mature roses, but the newer roses I just give them a little bit of a trim. So that's the plans that I've got coming up for the roses, and hopefully come springtime and summer I should have some beautiful blooms. I have had some beautiful blooms here since I've moved here, but obviously things got a little bit crazy with the weather, and hopefully they all come back this year. I've done everything that I can think of to try and make sure that they're really healthy and strong, and fingers crossed it's a great spring and summer. So that's it for me in the garden today. I've run out of time, so I'm all finished up now. But thank you so much for joining me. If you have liked this video, please consider subscribing, and otherwise I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.